Hi everyone, welcome to Yapper Therapy podcast. My name is Prax, your Yapper, and welcome to the second episode of Yapper Therapy. Technically the first um episode where I actually talk about something specific, but yeah, I'm really sorry about my voice. I had the longest tiring week this week. I mean, past week, it's Monday. I'm recording on a Monday, so the past week basically I was working so much and I was ill. I had like really bad sinus infection, and then just like uni and everything, it has been so hard on my mental health. But I was absolutely dreading this doing this. I've been planning to do this episode for so long, and I felt like I just couldn't do it. I didn't have it in me to actually get something done. I mean, today's a Monday, it's the first day in almost more than a week that I actually had the time to do something to do this, to actually have a had a time for myself because I just couldn't. And like even today I'm all in to be like a whole rest day. I mean, I just want to be in bed. I just want to chill. That's why like I'm like this. Like in my, you know, homeware, literally in the sofa like this, but it's been really tiring. But yeah, I hope you guys had a good last week as well because you'll be listening to this on a Monday. Um, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I have a specific topic in mind today. About like of course relating to mental health and just kind of experience and everything. But also like I had a like a really interesting week last week where I actually had a podcast. I was a guest in a podcast and it was really wonderful. And I feel like since then, I haven't been able to stop thinking about certain stuff. There's also some other things that happened last week that really made me think about, friendships in general. And I just wanted to kind of like share my experience with friendship as someone who's neurodiverse. So, again, different people have different experiences with friendship, of course, but I feel like for me, I had a very roller coaster of an experience when it comes to friends. And like even this whole episode is kind of influenced by the idea that like the whole of last couple weeks, actually this whole year technically, I've been so grateful for the friends that I have in my life. I've had so many realizations. I have actually learned to appreciate the friends I have and the friends who truly care about me so much more. And I thought about the people who came before, and then the friends I have now and the friends I might have in the future. All of this together, I feel like I really wanted to like explain or like kind of share or just yap about my whole experience with friends, I guess. I feel like growing up, right? I have always been like a people pleaser. That kind of made it easy for me to be friends with people because I always had this thing where, let's say I meet someone and I kind of just go and morph, like shift my personality according to the type of person they are. And it could be like, oh, let's say you love music. Like I'm trying to be friends with you. You love music. I completely focus on the part of me that loves music and I just kind of enhance it more than anything else. Like that part of me that loves music or that one music that I've listened to or that one, I don't know, something to do with music basically, I will really enhance that and focus on, explaining my love for music. And so like this could be with anything. And I feel like certain qualities in me, like being able to, I think, just morph into that person, like a different person to fit in better, has kind of allowed me to make friends a lot, right? But I feel like there's also some other qualities in me that really made it hard for me to be friends with people. I think one of the things I want to talk about, so a couple things. And the first thing I want to talk about is I I feel guilty about something lately, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you might relate or might not. It's okay. You're here to listen to me yap about this, but I feel like I have been guilty for love bombing people so much. And here's the thing, right? I don't do this intentionally. I understand love bombing can be seen as a really toxic thing where people do this to you and they dump so much love on you that makes you feel smaller, right? Or makes you feel like you're not doing enough. And thing is, it can be used like in a toxic way, it can be used in an unintentional way. The whole concept of love bombing is just you're just giving. I think in my opinion, sorry, I actually do not know what the concept of love bombing, what the actual definition of love bombing is. I might be using the term incorrectly, but go with the flow. Know what I mean? I'm just saying that for me, it has been, oh, I feel like love bombing is when you constantly just, show so much love to the other person, right? You're showing so much appreciation, gratitude, love overall to this other person. And it's an imbalance where you're showing more than the other person, right? And it's just like, just kind of dumping all of that in one person. I feel like that's me when it comes to like a new friendship, relationship, whatever it is. Like anytime I meet a person and I want them in my life, my go-to theory is literally, and here's the thing, right? It's not like, oh, I do this like just the first couple months or years and then I stop. I feel like I completely just, whenever I want them in my life, I would just shower them with love. It could be like, constantly talking to them, constantly showing them words of affirmation, like all the love languages you can list. I will just basically do everything possible and make one of them stick forever. And so I kind of just do that to an extent, right? And I feel like sometimes thing is I will actually never know what the other person feels, right? Never truly. And so I feel like a lot of people who left me in some ways, right? Or the friendship fizzled away, or there's also been times where someone just completely stopped talking to me without any explanation. And I feel like that was because I was a bit too much when it came to expressing my love. And I've been thinking about this lately and I felt like I just, when actually this did happen in a more of a pattern way, like it is happening quite constantly, and this happened the most in university. um I feel like I just kind of got really upset, right? And I didn't want friends anymore. I stopped trying to be friends with people. I stopped trying to, make friends. I stopped even talking to my existing friends because I felt like, oh, what if they leave? Because I have no idea what I'm doing wrong. And so it kind of really made me insecure in a friendship. But here's the thing, I don't do that on purpose. I just see someone I really want in my life and I just think, oh, what have I not gotten? Like, what did I not get? And that's shower of love, right? And so for me, I was like, I want to give them everything I never got. And I just kind of do that as if like there's a time frame, as if like okay, in 3 days you need to do everything physically possible for this person. All right. And so I just completely start, like there are times where I'm buying them food, I'm get like buying them gifts. I'm like, oh, I happen to go to the market and I happen to see something you like and I happen to buy it for you, right? And I looked at this and I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna love this. Like this person would like this. So for me, it's like it's all too much, right? And it's exhausting from my end as well because I'm constantly trying to really please this person to, as like an exchange of like, if I do all this, will you please promise to be friends with me? And I know how desperate this sounds, but it's like for me, I just kind of see someone I like, right? Let's say a friend, and I like this person, and I think, they're such a great person. Because, of course, when I speak to them, I'm not only listening to their words, I'm also kind of like listening to their inner person. Like, where it's just like, is this person a really good person? And sometimes people will share their traumas with me because I have so much to share. So a lot of people feel a lot comfortable when I kind of trauma share. But they feel more comfortable to speak about their issues. And so I look at this person, I'm like, oh, this person is such a great person. Like, I want to give them the world. I'm so sad that things happen to this person. So for me, like, that intense feeling is so exhausting, because there are times when, like, I feel like this is also something I do wrong, where after like, shower this person with so much love possible, right? I just kind of get exhausted because ADHD, and I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with myself. I'm exhausted with the possibility of, sharing with them with love. And the whole, like, I'm just exhausted, right? My social battery is completely drained, and I go absolute MIA. Like, I'm just, is it MI? But yeah, I just completely disappear. I'm not saying like, oh, I completely disappeared from my life, but I'm like, okay, now I'm replying late. Now I'm not replying on time. Now I don't want to go hang out. But here's the thing, that has no reflection. Right? This my behavior does not explain, like, does not mean anything for, like, oh, I don't want to be with that person. It simply means I'm so exhausted. Like, I do this so much to the point I exhaust myself, and I completely just shut down as a human being. And so that's one thing, right? That's just one thing I feel like I've been doing so wrong. And then there's a whole, of course, I said a little bit about it. My second thing I do, like, in friendship as a neurodiverse person, is, oh my god, trauma dumping. Okay. And I was very like, oh, everything about me and my friendship skills are so extreme. And the more I say this out loud now, the more I'm feeling something in me. But hear me out, right? Hear me out. Right. So, trauma dumping. I could meet, and I have done this, literally talking from personal experience. I have done this, okay, where I literally meet someone in a bus, right? I was going from London to Norwich. So my old uni was in Norwich, UEA. I was going from London to Norwich in the, National Express coach. And I sat next to someone who's also going to Norwich, right? They're not going to the same uni, they're just going to Norwich. I sat there, started saying hi, hello, started speaking to this person, and it's, bear in mind, it's a 2 hour, 10-minute ride. Okay, let's just say 2 hours ride. I absolutely, by the end of that ride, okay, this person knew everything that happened to me up until that day, right? Everything. And I have that skill, right? And I don't know if it's a good or bad skill, to literally quickly summarize, define my whole identity in 2 hours. I felt like I had absolutely exposed myself to this person, right? And I'm not just thinking about the good stuff, like, so many bad stuff. I shared all my traumas, breakups, bad relationships, relationship actually. I don't know, friendship, right? So many shit things that happened to me. I completely dumped it on that person, and it just got so much. And end of the ride, she even the past, like, she even spoke back to me. She told me about, like, stories about her life, but it became so much about, like, me. And thing is, I've got really interesting things to share. And if you ever, like, have the displeasure of actually, being in a conversation with me where I'm trauma dumping on you, you're gonna realize that I'm extremely traumatized in so many ways, and I make it in such like, I don't know, my way of looking at my trauma is like through dark humor. I would be laughing about the most darkest times of my life, and I'm talking like shit, like deep stuff, okay? And I'll be laughing about it like an absolute psychopath. And it's so crazy because others are like, that's not okay. And I'm like, no, I know. Like, I know it's funny though, isn't it? It's really funny that this XYZ happened. And they're like, no, it's not. So that, right, I have this whole trauma dumping thing, and I just even do this on, like, friendships. And I remember particularly where I realized that I do this, and it was not in my favor, because I was in uni first year and everything, and I did this. I really bonded with this person, and I felt like I could really share. And I started talking about things that happen in my life, and I got so comfortable sharing about this. Because hear me out, like, I actually am comfortable talking about my life. Because listen, talking, not talking, it's not gonna, like, just undo anything. If talking to someone about this makes me feel lighter, I'm gonna talk about it. If it makes them feel better, I'm gonna talk about it. More of the story, I'm going to talk about my trauma, because what's the point of keeping it inside? It's not gonna go away. I might as well talk to others, share my feelings. They Some people feel better because they're like, okay, they either think, oh, damn, someone had it worse than me, or they think, oh, someone had it similar than me, or they just look at me like, oh, this person needs all the loving, or hopefully they look at me like that, and I'm like, yes, please, like, please love me. No, I know how desperate that sounds, but you get what I mean. And so yeah, my first year in uni, and I did that, and we were getting to a very comfortable point where I actually started being very truthful. Like, it wasn't anymore humorous. It was literally like I was comfortable showing them the very darker side of me, where it was like really bad with my mental health. And I mean, I don't know, there's also a lot of like self-harm, things like these involved, and it got really deep. But I saw this one person and I thought, oh my God, they're able to like handle all this trauma dumping, and they're actually listening to me, and they're actually being there for me. And I started showing more of that side, more of like exposure of my feelings, of shit things that I do to myself. And I just kind of, one day out of the blue, that person just completely not there in my life anymore. They blocked me from everything. It just completely, like, they just disappeared, right? And I mean, not in a way, because they're still in uni, they're still like in my eyesight, but like there. But like, I could literally, and I'm not exaggerating in this, I could literally feel them leaving my life, but in a completely and sudden way. It was particularly after one situation that happened that was really bad for me. But I think it was a lot for them to handle. And I think that was the one time I first got really mad, and I was like, oh, I shared my life with this person, and I told them everything, I had that happened to me, and now suddenly um they completely left. But then when I had the time to calm down and stop being angry about it, I actually realized, like, what I say to some people about my personal trauma is not okay. Like, the way I see it is, I see it in, of course, a humorous way. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, this happened, ha ha ha. This is what some like whole Chandler Bing situation, right? And so, but for them, I've never actually realized how much difficult it is for the person who's receiving all this trauma dumping, because they could have so much they could relate to, right? And it could trigger some memories that they did not want. It could trigger, feelings that they don't want to have, or fear of they never want to be like me, or be in the situation that I'm in. So a lot of stuff like these, and I actually realize that this thing that I do, I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm just saying I expect that just because I think it's humorous, I think, oh, it's funny, or ha ha ha, this happened, doesn't mean the other person feels the same way. And that decided assumption, like thing, the whole assumption, like, what was pre-decided assumption? Like, this whole idea that I had in my mind, even before I spoke to someone, that, oh, they're gonna see it as funny because I presented as funny, doesn't mean they actually listen, like they're actually think the same way. So once I kind of really got to understand that, and that's after so many failed friendships, I actually, started. I'm not gonna say that, oh, I completely stopped trauma dumping on people. I feel like I trauma dump with permission now. So as I go along in my stories and in my, conversations of all my trauma, I ask them oh, are you sure you want to hear about this XYZ? Like, I give them a little disclaimer, I give them a little like warning, right? Trigger warning. And so that has helped me in some ways. And this is a very recent like revelation, okay? Like, this is very recent that I've been feeling I actually understood this. My whole university experience ruined because of my trauma dumping, like trauma dumping thing, right? And so this is very recent that I've started feeling this way, and I'm starting to apply this on when making new friends. So, that's definitely something. If you feel like you're in the same place as me, you could try doing that. I mean, trauma dump, sure, you're allowed to yap about your trauma, but ask for permission, instead of just going all into the conversation without even thinking, because you might not be triggered by it anymore, but others are. And if I could just go back and tell those people that I trauma dumped on that how extremely sorry I am, I actually would, because I never really thought about the receiving end of it. Right. And so that's basically some of the things that really affect me and my neurodiversity when it comes to making friends. Also, there's also times that I feel like as a neurodiverse person, there's so many things that, I mean, if someone who's not neurodiverse, or let's say you are neurodiverse, but you're thinking of, how you can be a better friend to someone else, right? Neurodiverse, non neurodiverse. You want to be better friend to someone who is neurodiverse. I feel like some things I wished, and I've seen this, something I wish from some people, and some things I've actually received from my very closest friends is that understanding of the type of person I am. I was explaining this to someone the other day that the right person would literally, do everything for you. Um, and I feel like I had that experience where it's very few, but I'm so grateful. Right, I've got this amazing friends that I have, and they'll know exactly when if they're hearing this, they'll know exactly like I'm talking about them. But they're like my support system, right? This group of friends I have, they're absolutely my support system. And one of the things that help me navigate life is their friendship. I have always been like, with this group of friends, right? They've always challenged me when I'm being an absolute stubborn piece of ass. I They always challenge me, and it's never in a toxic way. It's more like, you're getting a bit out of control. You need to calm the f down. Like, you need to do that. So I need to be like, not control. Okay, so my camera just died because it overheated, but I was just saying, um this group of friends, when they challenge me, and it's so wonderful to be challenged like that, because right, they they know exactly how to help me out. Sometimes I need the tough love, and they provide that for me. Sometimes I need the most support ever possible, and they provide that for me. And it's also like, for example, me going completely like silent, because I'm drained, my social battery is drained, my absolute like executive functions are not functioning, like nothing's right, basically my whole system is just absolutely shut down, right? And I go completely disappear, go silent. I don't reply properly. If I pick up the phone, I'll go very, like, it's like you're speaking to the wall. I'll literally just be like, hmm. And so they have been the most understanding group of friends that I can ever expect, like, ever want, imagine, okay? And they set the standard quite high for me now when it comes to being friends with anyone else. And for me, as a neurodiverse person, I'm very, like, again, as I've said, like, have very I'm very good when it comes to making friends, because I can, like, shapeshift, but like shapeshift, personality shift. But when it comes to this particular group of friends, and I love them both so deeply, when it comes to this group of friends, I feel like I can just, take off that mask, take off that whole suit of different personalities that I wear, and just expose myself completely. And I am absolutely loved for the person I am. And so that being having that group of friends have kind of really helped me navigate through life so much better basically. And I think here's where I get very like, it's also sometimes a bit problematic, right? Because of course they set the standard very high. Also, they've basically convinced me that I have this comfort zone when it comes to friends, and they're basically like my comfort zone. So whenever I'm meeting someone else and say, if my friendship's going somewhere with someone else, and if I'm not feeling the way I feel with my friend group of friends, right? Um, I kind of just like shut down. I'm like, no, no, that's not how it's meant to be. And I just kind of shut down. I'm like, I don't want this friendship. I want to go back to home where I can call my friends and I can just, talk to them because they're all I need. And that's okay. So my camera shut down again because of the overheating, even though it's like -1,000 outside. It's not, but you know what I mean. So yeah. So I feel like having that group of friends where they set such a high, standard for others to match, and that comfort zone that I get with them, it's actually sometimes like makes me want to crawl back to my bed and my room and just kind of call them up and have a long conversation with them to just de-stress, and like that's all I want to do. And here's the thing, my expectations for that is extremely high because now I want that forever. And I sometimes restrict myself from making new friends because I think, oh, I've got enough, like I don't want any more. And maybe that's gonna work, maybe it's not, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, if you ever feel like you're struggling with friends and friendship like I have, and believe me, I've had my fair share of traumas when it came to making friends, okay? I've had people plotting against me. That's all high school drama, but um so all these things, right? Just know that you never have to, change yourself to be loved, because yes, I shift my personality to meet people, but end of the day, the friends that I have now, the friends for life, the my ride or die, they love me for who I am and not the person I'm asked to be. Because trust me, I know what, shifting my personality, masking my personality to suit other people looks like, and I do not do that with them. Yes, there are times where I just kind of like, go quiet, but instead of masking, I just go quiet and they know exactly what's going on. It's like this group of friends of mine, they really know how to be there for me even without me knowing what I need at that moment. And so I just want to say, like, if you ever feel like you don't have that friend group, what that really explains to you, you're just not, that really understands you, you're just not in the right friend group. That's it. Like, you will find the right group of friends. It will be a long journey. I know my friends for like more than 10 years. They're literally my high school, like not high school, secondary school friends. But it will take a while. We weren't there always like that, but certain things in life bonded us, and it just, yeah. So if you feel like you struggle with friendship, like, don't worry, you will find your people at some point, and it will be at different stages in life. So, the real person, I'm trying to say, is that the real group of friends are gonna understand you for exactly who you are. You wouldn't have to, pretend to be someone else in front of them. So yeah, I think that's my therapy for today. I feel a lot better now. I hope you guys feel the same way. And before my phone just before my camera just completely dies again, please, I hope that doesn't happen now. Hope you like this episode, and hope you follow me on my social media accounts, and I will see you same time next week. Okay, take care of yourself. Bye. Love you.